Let's finish up our layered paperback junk journal by adding a Japanese binding and final touches to our paper bags. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. This is episode 3, so if you've missed the first 2, if you want to see how we came to this point, check out the links below in the description box. So first, let's make a binding here, which is not necessary because it is bound. We have glued them all together, so there's no reason for this except I want it as decoration. I love Japanese bindings, and I think there is one that would look really nice here. So the first thing I thought I wanted to do was to decide on what color I want to do the binding in. And to help me decide which color, I chose color that I would see when I first look at this journal. So I have these 5 here that I think would all work. There's this beautiful like mustard yellow. There's this light green, which is very similar here for the forest. And then we have a blue. We don't have this kind of blue here, but we do have a similar one here with the smaller dots actually on the fabric. And then we have a brown. So we have brown here and also here. And of course our edges are distressed in Vintage Photo, which is a brown. And then we have black. We also have black here coming through. And after thinking about it for a little bit, I decided I'm going to go with the black because it is the biggest contrast. So first we need to poke our holes. I will link the video that I was inspired by to make this binding. Of course, in that video, they are binding the book as a whole book, which I'm not doing. I just need it as decoration. I'm going to do mine just a little bit differently. So first I need to make the holes for the binding to go through. What I've seen in that video and several other videos is often people make 4 holes. I don't think it makes a difference if it's an even or odd number with this method. So I'm going to just take a ruler and find where the middle is, which is about here. And I'm actually using a red marker because if I would use a pencil or a black marker, I would not see it because there's black dots here. And then I'm going to go equal distances from the middle and mark every 2 centimeters, I would say. And I want to make sure that they are on a straight line. So you see all the dots here now. Then I'm going to use my crocodile, the small hole, the 1/8 inch one, to punch through all of these holes. If you don't have a crocodile, obviously you can use an awl or some kind of pokey tool that you have. Once we have all the holes made, we're going to measure the thread to be 6 to 7 times as long as the spine is long. So 1. I'm gonna do 7 to be on the safe side, maybe even just a little longer. I'm so worried that I'm gonna do all this and then it won't be long enough. In all of the tutorials I've seen, you start from the inside because of course this isn't bound yet. It's not glued like mine is glued. So you would start from the inside and then you would end on the inside and you would just tie it off. But I can't do that, so I want to do something else. I'm going to start just from the back in the middle. Do I want it from the middle or do I want to start from the top? Just trying to think this through because I've never tried this before. I'll start from the second from the top. I'm going to start here, go through it, leave a tail, I don't know, like this long. Then I go around the spine, so into the same hole again, like this. And then I'll go up one, then around the spine into the same hole. Then I'll go into the same hole again, but this time the thread is going to be from the top. I'm not explaining this very well. Please watch the tutorial. Then I'll come back into the same hole from the back. Yeah, and then we just keep going. We just move over one hole and go around the spine back into the same hole. And now we move on from the bottom. I actually don't know if I'm doing this correctly right now. So please go watch that tutorial. Don't necessarily follow what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to make this work. Then I'll go through the same hole. And then move on to the next. Go around. So once we get to the last hole on the bottom, we go once around there, and then we go once around the bottom edge. Oops, nope. Like that. And then I guess we just go back to that hole we started out from. And we can just kind of weave back and forth to fill up all the gaps that we have here. Like we need to fill up these, right? So we'll just go weave our needle back and forth. This is actually very easy. Okay, now we're back at the second hole and we have these two ends. Oh, this was much easier than I thought, to be honest. You can totally do this. If I can do this, you can do it. So I'm just going to cut this end to be about the same length. So in hindsight, 6 would have been definitely enough, 6 lengths of the book, just so you know. And then I'm going to tie these off here. And I can decide, do I want it on the edge or do I want it more on the inside? Because I'm thinking I need to add some dangles here. Where do I want them to hang? Doesn't really matter, both would be cute. Even here inside would be cute. Yeah, why not? It's a bit different. Let's do something different. So I'm going to make probably a triple knot. Just want to make sure that all these are tight enough that there's nothing loose. Now I have this where I could hang something. So let's go find something. I will show you my treasure box of special charms that I have been collecting over the years. Some of them are still for my mom. This was actually a soap box, as you can see, which is so gorgeous. And these are my treasures. So there's some beads in here and some other like special things. These are also really cute. We're in a Happy Mail. So, oh, one thing that is jumping at me is this leaf. Well, that's perfect for this nature journal. Love that. The color is perfect too. So, yep, we already have a winner. What else can we add? This here, I think, would also be absolutely adorable. Love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. I had no idea I had such fitting charms. This is a bit big. There's this adorable owl, but it's silver, so I don't want to add that. That doesn't really work for me. I don't like mixing those up. Maybe I'll add also just some regular beads. Some of these are from broken jewelry pieces. Like just something like this would obviously always work. I'll keep that in mind. This here seems to be some kind of Olympic medal thing, which would also be fun. Oops, it's a Spanish one. Yeah, and then maybe I don't know if I should add like some of these beautiful glass beads. Not sure, but I'll just take them out. Green one. Okay, I think that's a good amount. And now I'm just going to tie these on at different lengths. So how do we do this? Maybe this one should be, I don't know, at the end or at the top. Could also be cute at the end, actually. Yeah, I think I want this one at the end, so I'll do that one last. This one would also be cute at the end. Okay, so those are my two ends. And then on the top, maybe we'll add this black one. And I'm just going to knot a knot wherever I want this charm to dangle from. So for example, like this, now he's fixed here. Then I'll add a bead a little farther down. So make sure to pick beads that have holes that are big enough where your thread is going to go through. And I'm going to be adding one more bead, so I'll kind of try to space this so that it makes sense. Again, I'm just knotting that like that. And then we'll add this bead. You might need your needle to help you get through your bead. Like this. And then finally, let's add the leaf to the bottom. Here I'll make a double knot to make sure it doesn't open. Maybe even add some glue to the knot. And then we can cut the end short. There, so that's one. And then I'll do the same with the other one. Now with the second one, I like to make sure that I don't knot them in exactly the same height as the first one, because I want them to kind of be in between the beads of the first one. I think this is going to be too much. I'm going to leave this out and just add the cute elephant here on the bottom. And again, I think it's nicer if the leaf and the elephant don't have the same height. So I will tie him a little higher than the leaf. And I will add glue to that once I'm done with the journal, because I don't want to deal with the wet glue right now. So here we have our cute little dangles on our journal. I love it. And it doesn't really bother us when we open the journal. Another thing I want to add in my journal to make it more tactile is some more texture and some more raggedy things. So I will take my Collage Butter, my box of beautiful Collage Butter scraps, and make some very easy clusters that I can just then glue into my journal. So I'm choosing a whole bunch that I think will work with the colors I have in here, which is quite easy because I kind of stick mostly to the same colors in my journals. So that means I have a lot of choice. And you can of course do the same thing with fabric. That would be amazing. I just don't have fabric in colors that would work well for this, or in the style that I would like to have for this. So that's why I'm using paper scraps. And most of these paper scraps are scraps I've made next to what I was actually making. So whenever I have some paint or anything left over on my brush or on my stamp or whatever, I just put it on another paper, whatever's laying around my desk. And that way you have then a beautiful collection of papers at your disposal at all times, and it grows and grows, and you will never be able to use it all up. But that means now I have such a great choice. So I'm going to start off with just tearing these into different shapes. I don't want any straight edges anywhere. So basically I'm just making smaller scraps at the moment. So once we have a good amount, we can then just start layering them on top of each other. You could just glue them together, you could sew them together. I think I'm just going to staple them together just to be quick. So I'm just going to try to pair some that I think will work nicely together. This one's maybe a bit big. Just go with what you like. There's no science behind this. This paper with the stars, maybe you remember, is from my Defemember background on my table. And I think it's great as a scrap. It is a bit wide, so maybe I will go over this with some vintage photo afterwards. So our first one is done, and I will just continue with this. So these are very quick and very fun to do. There's no rule as to how many scraps you put together. It's all up to you. I have 13 of these now. No particular reason that they're 13. It just kind of happened that way. And on one of these, I added a piece of cheesecloth on the top, and I'm actually really liking that. So I think I want to do that for some of the others as well. And I also still have some of this netting from my lemons, which I dyed. So I think I might add some of that on top as well. And I think I'm going to glue that on rather than stapling it on. I need more of this netting. I need a bigger variety of colors, I think. I love this net so much. If I ever make a mermaid journal, I need to use this netting. So I think I'll just lay them out all first and then glue everything down. And then the cheesecloth. The cheesecloth is of course coffee dyed. Otherwise it would be too white. And these two I will leave as they are because here I don't want to cover up the stamping. Yep, so I'll just glue all of that on. In the meantime, all of the glue has dried and I have inked up all of my papers with my vintage photo. I don't have any stark white here anymore, which is awesome. And now it's just a matter of placing these in the right places, because what is the right place? Whatever looks good to you is the right place. There is, again, no right or wrong, which is always the beauty of junk journaling. It's whatever you think looks best. So the only one I've kind of played around with until now is the first one here, because I definitely want something up here. And I think the nicest one would be this one here with the number. I was thinking of the other one that has a word, or what was it? Oh yeah, it was the art one. I would have actually really liked the art one in front here. But then I realized, I don't know, actually, now maybe I like it. When I looked at it the first time, I thought, but then it kind of takes away from the title here, My Forest Friends, which is why I then thought maybe the number is better. Now I'm not sure. See, you should never second guess your choices. Go with what you feel the first time. But having art on the front is really nice as well. No, I'm gonna go with my gut feeling. So I'm just going to glue this on here using my tacky glue. And if you have a feeling like here, I see this here is actually a bit loose, I will just glue that on once I have the whole thing glued on. And I'm gluing it on so that it sticks out a little bit from the paper bag, because I want some more ragged edges. And then I'll just go ahead and put some more glue on the pieces to make them stick better. It's optional. If you don't want your pieces moving around too much, then that's something you can do. Yeah, and it just sticks out a little bit here. So now I just have to go through my book and decide where else I want things sticking out. Maybe here something would be nice, maybe in the middle. It does kind of take away from this writing spot. Maybe there's one that is a little more narrow. This one is narrower. Or up here. I like it up here better actually, although I'm covering part of the collage, but that's okay. Something here maybe would be nice. Maybe not that big. Yep, I like that one. Maybe here. This could use a bigger one, I have a feeling. Yes, that's beautiful. This way. Even better. Don't overthink it, Barbara. Just put it down. Listen to intuition. Here. Yep, that one is good. And you see here we have the white showing through, so afterwards I'll go through it and just ink up all of those white edges that are peeking out. Here we could add one. No, these are all too big. Okay, maybe not. Maybe on this one I can even put a bigger one. Yes, love it. This one is also very empty. When I decide what to put here, I'm of course not just looking at the page or even just this and this. I'm looking at the whole thing. So, for example, this now doesn't seem balanced because I have green, green, and there's really no green here except all the way here. That's kind of too far, so I don't really like that. Whereas the blue or the turquoise, I think is more balanced because we have it here as well. So that's something else you might want to pay attention to. This one here. That one's difficult because actually probably we should do something on this side because again we have the situation of green here. So maybe we can just add something green on this side. Don't really have anything that fits there though, so maybe let's just not. Now here we could add something green because we have green here. I would have loved to add it down here, but I don't want to cover up this beautiful flower. This one is a bit smaller. Yep, I could put it there. And ideally on this big one or on this one, I will put another green one so that I have a triangle. So no matter what I do, I kind of always have the triangles in mind because they just really balance your composition out. not just over one page, but throughout the journal. So it's kind of hard to put something here because I don't want to put it over the sentiment. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So I'll need to put something on this one. I mean, this would work. You see how nicely that looks? Yes, we also have this, but it's almost too far away, I think. See, if I have this, we have this line. That's just not as pleasing to the eye as if we have something here in the closer vicinity. I also haven't found a spot for my art. That could also be nice peeking out like that, but nope, not really giving me that triangle that I want. What about this one? Too much blue. No, I will just go with this one. I think that one works. I have 4 more left and I have a lot more pages left, so I need to now be careful on how I space these so that I don't have them all throughout 3/4 of the book, but then nothing left for the last few pages. That would not be good. So maybe we'll just leave these for now. Leave this one. Something... Here would be cute because we don't really have a lot going on here, but I don't think I have anything that's small enough. That's kind of weird. No, I'm gonna leave this for now. Okay, this is the only big page left, so maybe this is where I should put the art. I could also put it this way, of course. I actually like that. Yep. And if you're wondering about this kitchen towel, I used that in one of my other videos. It was just a kitchen towel that I soaked up my spilled liquid with. I was using a mixture of coffee and a refiller of the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, trying to do something that Louisa does. And I had it in a little container on my craft desk, and of course I spilled the whole thing. So I wiped it up with this, and now I have this very cool Collage Butter to use. Not planned, but brilliant. Love that there. Okay, we have 3 more to distribute. Do we need anything here in the back? So when we look at our back cover, I think it would totally be nice to have something there. Maybe this blue would work nicely. Kind of like it down here, although everything is down here. Normally I would automatically put it up there to balance it. Oh, we were gonna put, I remember now, we were going to see if we wanted to put something else here, an image or something. I should do that first. I'm going to cut out this flower because that might be really cute peeking out from behind there. Let's have a look. Would be okay. Not sure I'm loving it. Definitely want something behind there to pique your interest. It would be okay, but maybe I have something better. I also have this adorable image that I have not found a place for yet. Maybe this is what I need. I will tear around this and then we'll see if that might work better. So I've inked up the edges already. I think this is better. I think the colors are softer and that's why it works better. One option is to have it up there. I like how just the stag and the 2 owls are peeking out. But then of course we have this diagonal here. The other option would be to put it down here, which kind of concentrates everything down here. Of course, the other thing we need to consider is how does it look when we open the page. So one option is up here, and then the other option was down here. I think either would be okay, actually. I'm gonna put it up here. usually not what I would do because I try to prevent just to have a diagonal like this. But I'm gonna go with this anyway. I do think this is better than having everything down here and then having nothing up here. And if I would put something else on there, in addition, I think it's going to be too much. So I'm gonna go with this. So we still need, well, we don't need to, but I still want to add these 3. So now we have a more complete picture here. Maybe we can now add something. Oh, I like that. Yes, that was what it needed. Perfect. 2 more we can use. No, that's too much here. We have one here. We could still put one here. Yes, that works. Last one. Here. It's done. I've added a couple more things which I will show you, so I'll give you a final flip through, and I'm really happy with it now. So one thing I added, of course, is some splattering, but no gold. Unbelievably, this is a journal, no gold. I don't know how that happened. But I do have some black splatters. I didn't want to put the black splatters on everything, so I kind of just started going through the pages and doing like every 2 or 3 pages. And then I went back and I'm like, nope, it has to be on all the pages. I think it's pretty much on all the pages because it just adds such a beautiful contrast. So then when I saw the pages without the splatters, like this one actually, see there's no splatters here. I'll have to think about whether to add some here. There are some here, but they're very hard to see because this is such a colorful background. And what I also did on most of the pages, or a lot of the pages, is, as you can see here, some stenciling. And I think that adds another touch as well. Makes it look a little more artsy. So I used various colors. Actually, I was kind of mixing all my colors. These are Rusty Hinge. And then these are usually a mixture either of like bundled sage and forest moss, but also salvaged patina. So I was kind of just mixing everything up. So I can't tell you what is what. It's just usually a mixture. But I love what this adds to the journal. Here's nothing. Here's a few splatters. Here's stenciling and splattering. Love the stenciling. I just love the stenciling. I usually don't do that, and I think I need to do that more because I think it really adds something special to any journal. No splatters on these 2, but beautiful stenciling here, again with the Rusty Hinge. Lots of splattering there. Splatters that you can hardly see. More splatters and some stenciling. This is mostly forest moss. A couple of splatters here. And here and here. And here. Here's just some subtle stenciling. Splattering there. And here. Splatters and stenciling. Just splatters and stenciling, splatters. But you see the splatters aren't so dominant. So in a lot of places, it's really just a little accent just to provide some contrast. Stenciling here. So what I did here is first I went over the stencil with my Rusty Hinge. And then just on the bottom portion, I went over it with, I think it was a forest moss. So that kind of looks cool as well. Also love it here. Some big splatters on this one. And stenciling here and here. Also really love it on this one. Just splattering. Oh no, there's some stenciling down here, fairly subtle. Up there, lots of it here. Just splattering here. Splatters, stenciling, and splatters. Now I'm wondering, maybe I think this needs some more stenciling actually. I'll use my rusty hinge again. If you have like flowers and leaves and such, I think it looks really nice to have one part, like here, the center of the flower, be darker. You can't really tell. Well, a little bit, I guess. There. Is that enough? No, I think we need a tiny bit down here as well. Yep, that balances out. Oh, I love that. So happy I did that. And I'm wondering if I should add some more here. No, that's okay because we have all of this here. No, I think that's good. One thing you need to keep in mind is if you use your stencils with these distressed oxides or inks, of course, next time you use some wet medium, if you don't wash these, of course, the color you just use is gonna go into whatever you put on next. So do keep that in mind. I don't mind because I always like to be surprised with the colors. But if you're particular about your colors, then do keep that in mind. So what do you say? Did I achieve making this Barbara style or not? I would love to hear your opinion, and I would love to hear if you are inspired to try a layered paper bag journal like this yourself. As a reminder, all the prints are from the Digital Collage Club, so check them out with the links and the discounts below if you want to see what else Tina has in store. It's such a treasure site. But in either case, whatever you do, the most important thing is to have fun. So thank you for joining me again and have fun crafting. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!